Donald Trump is a lame duck, and Republicans are coming to understand that. And MAGA is fracturing. With Marjorie Taylor Greene, with the Indiana Republicans, which is kind of big, uh, Representatives Don Bacon, Representative Massey, and retiring GOP leaders, there's a movement now within the Republican Party that is spinning around the understanding that Donald Trump is a lame duck. And we're going to have to see if Donald Trump follows through with his threats against Indiana, because if he does, that'll be a lawsuit there. If Congress appropriates funds for states for specific purposes, that disbursement cannot be stopped by Donald Trump. It must be provided as Congress requires. That includes federal money given to states for federal projects and assistance in other state projects like public health. So Indiana would have a strong case against Donald Trump if he were to try and stop federal funding to come into Indiana. But what we now have is a cornered, demented beast who is manufacturing war with Venezuela, adopting Putin's talking points, expanding his surveillance police state in America, imposing more tariffs that economists are sure have been the primary cause that America's thriving economy is now at the threshold of a recession. Donald at his most destructive mind space at this point. So if anybody attacks him or his agenda, he will just crush it with the might of the office he occupies. He sees no distinction between himself and the office. He believes he is the sovereign. But all that means nothing if we, the people, let it be known that he has no power anymore. His ghoulish congressional caucus is fracturing, and MAGA will have an uphill battle maintaining majority after the midterms. Although we must remember that they're still the incumbents, and elections favor incumbents unless voters want something new very badly. The 2026 economic turmoil could very well be a reason for voters to change the composition of Congress. We need to focus now on the midterms, support candidates, rising stars, and popular voices in the Democratic Party. Let's face it, the Democratic Party is the biggest entity that is standing between our Constitution and Donald Trump's ongoing fascist, hostile takeover. Some Republicans are now switching ideologies, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Don Bacon, Mike Lawler, and others, on various issues because Donald's time is nearing its end. Now is the time to keep up the pressure, push them back into becoming the minority party and staying there for the foreseeable future, because that is what is best for the American people. We have learned in the last 2 years definitively that the Republican Party and MAGA Republicans especially do not know how to govern. If they did, the government wouldn't be stopping every 3 months. If they did, there would be something more to show for it than Donald Trump's big bad bill, which is taking away health insurance and Medicaid money and SNAP funding from people who need it most. And I'll talk about the healthcare issue that is coming up in a different episode. But all of these things are going to avalanche and impact the 2026 elections. And it falls on every non-MAGA, anti-Trump voice to rise up and say that Donald Trump, you are a lame duck. You don't have the power that you think you do. And the country needs to start course correcting as soon as we can, so we are not stuck with this slippery slope down into the abyss whether you think about it socially, whether you think about it economically, or whether you think about it politically. With that said, thank you for listening. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.